Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Let's go build something cool.
Hi, my name's Troy McClure.
Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from such nature films as Get Confident, Stupid.
The Red Square Body. That's right. Welcome back to CodyCrafted. Today we've got a repeat customer, Mr. Corey, longtime friend of mine, former co-worker, a couple of times. And he's having a little running issues. It's been almost 2 years since we did the majority of the work. And then probably a year or so ago, I had it back in to finish up some stuff on the interior, seat belts or something like that. Anyways, was doing great, and then all of a sudden started running bad. So we're gonna walk you through the diagnosis on this one. Try to do things a little different. Let's see how good I am at actually fixing stuff. I don't know. All the cool parts done. Now we gotta like repair things. Lame. Alrighty, little recap on things here. This one came to us from Mr. Corey the first time because it had been sitting for a long time. We put new fuel pumps in it, selector valve, replaced all the brake lines with stainless steel. Of course, did all new exhaust on it. Got it running, you know, new battery, fixed some old wiring, funky stuff, new radiator, flushed the motor. Excuse me, it's April. Sneezy season. Skyjacker. Yeah, Skyjacker. 2.5 inch plush ride leaves. Measured for a set of Bilsteins. Those are not an off the shelf part. They're a you know, we figured out which ones were going to work the best. Got those rolling. Re-geared to 373s. It's got G2 diff covers on it. It's got I think it's still open in the rear. I don't think we put a true track in. We might have put in a limited slip, but it's not anything fancy. This thing is more of a, you know, drive it to work on Fridays and take the kids for ice cream and put it in the, you know, homecoming parade, that kind of deal. Take it to the lake, you know, one of those kind of deals. Just kind of a weekend cruiser. Of course, all new brakes. It's got the Willwoods, 17 by 8.5 method. I believe these are 304s, double standards. They might be standards, but they're you know, one of the either standard, double standard, whatever. Methods, of course. Corey's a big BFG guy, so got 33 10.5, 33 12.5, 17 LT BFG all-terrain TAs. There is a matching spare in the back. Put in the steering box brace because the frames on these are known to crack around the steering box. And then, of course, all the interior work. Bunch of stuff. It is a 305 with a 700 R4. It is a kind of gutlessy pig, but it's an 87, and it actually still ran good until recently. So it is a TBI truck, and I believe the air conditioning still works, if I'm not mistaken. It runs fine. It's just an 80s 305, so it's down on power as far as by modern standards. But until the motor's done-ish, there's no need to just yank it out. He's just not ready to do that until it's time. So it will probably get an LS swap at some point, in all fairness, because LS swap all the things. We'll just throw a 5.3 in it, all that jazz. Let me get you some beauty roll here. Redhead steering box, like we usually do. I did have custom brake lines made. New bump stops, new pivot bushings. We painted the frame on this one. Took the bed off, had the bed rhino lined underneath the whole bed. Like I say, we got, you know, all the new stuff. Of course, my exhaust, and we did rhino lined on the inside, you know, matching spare. Let's see, probably wouldn't hurt to have that drive shaft rebalanced. Put a receiver hitch on it. This truck is originally from Nebraska, so it was pretty rough as far as the frame goes. We had a couple of places that we patched, and weld it up. I did get these old school KCs working. Put some, you know, new bulbs in them, yeah, we got the new bulbs to put back in them and got those working how they're supposed to. You know, tranny cooler, power steering cooler, stainless brake lines. Like I say, it is fuel injected because this is an 87, 86, 87, something like that. Let's look at the interior. You know, new mirrors. This really pretty red seat cover. New red seat belts. All the red, all the time. All new bulbs in the dash. Replaced a couple of the gauges to make sure they work. New door panels from LMC. New belt molding. It does need new guides and such, but you know, we'll get to that at some point. Headliner, I think, still the original one. This thing had a mishmash of blue interior and the red when we originally did it. I did not put that stereo in. That was done back in the day as usual. The dual fuel tank does work. Mounted this nice little tack. Corey's a hot rodder at heart. He likes a tack. Can't blame him for that one. And these are tucked back up in there. Somebody's been messing with stuff. I don't leave wires hanging out. There we go. It goes back up in there. Anyways, it's kind of cool. Just gives him a point of reference. Make sure he's in overdrive or whatever the case may be. Of course, four-wheel drive works. Yeah, it's a fun little truck. I've driven it around a little bit. Rides pretty decent considering it's on leaf springs and 5100s. Short wheelbase, narrow, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, here's the deal. When you go to start it, I guess we should talk about what it's doing and what it's not doing, huh? Keys? Nope. Keys are in the toolbox. BRB. Tenemos llaves. Alright, so. Fires right up. For the most part. Here's the deal. Watch the tack. It's a little shuddery, and then it dies. Yeah. All right, so we did get a little pre-diagnosis action going on. I'll see if I can show it to you. Just let it run here for a sec. And I'm gonna pull this air cleaner off real quick. So if we take the air cleaner and yank it off of here, oh, well, that might have something to do with it. Okay, so this is a GM TBI, throttle body injection. It does have a Holley throttle body on it for some reason. I didn't quite realize that, so hopefully the connectors that we ordered will work. Alright, so with the cyclic rate of the LED and the frame rate of the camera, hopefully, maybe that helps. Hopefully you guys can see the fuel running out of there. See it shudder and just kind of shuts off. Okay, so now that we know what it's doing there, go ahead. We're gonna fire it back up. All right, so that fuel just basically splashes onto the throttle plates there, and it'll barely do it. So what I'm looking for is, Corey said if we wiggle the wiring for the injectors, you can get it to shut off. Definitely feels different. This one can't keep up. See how that doesn't really, yeah. See how it doesn't really keep up? Like the flow rate doesn't increase. So, tell you what I'm going to do. What I was planning on doing was replacing the injector connectors. But with this Holley throttle body, this is a little different. So the ones that we ordered last night, or not before last, are actually not going to work. So I'm going to move on to ignition stuff, just to kind of isolate what's going on. First things first, this is our tack lead right here. Let's see if you guys can, there we go, that's better. This is our tack trigger wire. I'm going to pull the cap, and I went ahead and ordered a cap, rotor, and a set of the module, the HEI module that goes in there, because those are known to go bad, and we've had one go bad recently. Also, this piece of vacuum hose is not doing its job, so we're going to fix that too. Now, let's see what this cap looks like. Alright, let's see what we got here. Well, it's not too old. Those are retained. There's a little bit of acidosis in there. Yeah, look at the ashy shenanigans. Well, good thing we got was, oh, also the button. The button's pretty wonky. Okay. Well, at least we know we're headed in the right direction. And the rotor. Oh yeah, look at there. All burned up in the middle. Neat. Alright, well, let's get some ignition concerns out of the way. Now, I guess the question would be, do we go ahead and run it with the existing module and see what change that makes? Or should we go ahead and just swap it out? I'm thinking, let's try it. Let's try it. For diagnostic purposes, for the purpose of telling the story, as Steve-O says, you gotta tell the story.
I am here to tell the story.
All right, let's see if that fixes anything. Let's make sure it runs first. Well, it definitely smoothed out. I will give it that. Easier to start. That's nice. Always a good thing. Let's see how it revs. Oh, okay. Well, guess that answers that. Next most likely candidate, HEI module. Okay, let's talk about HEI modules. So there is a cam sensor, basically. It's a trigger. And then this little guy has the timing curve built into it. It's kind of crusty in there, but most importantly, we got the new one here. The thermal paste is completely gone. So you see this bottom. I don't know if this has been replaced before. I'm going to kind of assume it has, but there's no thermal transfer paste. That acts as a heat sink, and they give you some with your new one. If I can get it out of the box here. This is silicone heat sink compound. So what you do is you just take this and you put a layer of it on here, and what that does is that helps the base of the distributor, which is more in the airflow, act as a heat sink to keep this from cooking itself. These are relatively cheap, like 20 bucks or so. It's kind of a thing where you just keep a spare, especially with the way that modern parts availability goes. You know, made in Taiwan, made in China, printed in the USA. Oh, this one's actually made in the USA. Look at there. It gives you cancer, but it's made in America. So prop 65. Alrighty. Let me slap this thing in and we'll give it one more go. It just goes in with 2 screws and there's little pins right here. Other than that, there's the plug on the back and the 2 plugs on the outside. Easy peasy, doesn't get any more simple. Alrighty, that's all back together. I left the key on by mistake, honestly, to be completely fair. Oh, while I'm coming clean on stuff, we did not replace the steering box on this one. It wasn't leaking or doing anything bad. My mistake. We do a lot of redhead steering boxes. I thought we did. My bad. Anyway, so I had the key still on because when it died, I did not go out and turn the key on. And when I hooked up the ignition control module, the injectors went and fired. So that's part of our trigger system, if you didn't know already. So just kind of cluing you in on what's going on. All right, cycle the key, power off, power on, and away we go. Oh, that's better. Now the other thing that this was doing is it had an intermittent misfire stumble at idle, and that was back before. I'm just remembering this right now, and when we did the rest of the work, and it would just intermittently kind of hesitate and stumble. So let's take a look and let's see what happens this time. Maybe we fixed it. I think we've got a good shot at it, but let's see. Nope, that's not it. Okay, so the question is it fuel or is it ignition related? Okay, now I had to diagnose this. It was one of those modules on the last truck that I messed with, so that had similar type problems. This is a spark checker, and what it does is it lights up, obviously. Is that gonna go? Man, that thing's barely gonna touch. That rubber boot's not doing us any good. Okay, all right, it's on there. Okay, you wanna fire it back up for me? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna watch for the light to go out. All right, so you guys can see we got Pulsey McGee over here. So we're gonna give it a little rev. Okay, we are not losing spark because the ignition is still running. So does that mean we're losing fuel pressure? Now that we've isolated that, because you notice it just kept barely blinking. I don't know what the frame rate's doing for you, but on my end, it just kept blinking until it went ahead and died. So now the question is it a fuel pressure problem? Well, on these TBI motors, there is no fuel pressure test port. You just got to take the line off back here. And so that is going to be the next thing. We did replace the fuel pumps on both saddle tanks when we had it last time, but I don't know exactly what the deal is here. It will idle if it has fuel pressure, and I will say, or if it has some fuel pressure but not enough. I will say that the spray pattern coming out of the injectors looks a little pissy, like sputter. It's not like usually, like it's hitting the throttle plates. If we go to the house and get my Chevy, my 95, you can watch the injectors on it, and it's a pretty solid pattern that hits like the walls, the bore of the throttle blade, not necessarily the plate itself. This is a little more like kind of rain instead of a fan. So, okay, let me get my fuel pressure test stuff out. Once again, GoPro getting hot, so let's double check that doesn't burn up on us, because those are expensive. And I'll get this set up and let's check fuel pressure. Yes, as a matter of fact, it is as hot and sweaty as I look. That's true. All right, this microphone battery's about to die, and this camera's probably gonna die soon, but let me show you guys this. Had to go borrow a tool. This is my fuel pressure gauge, but we had to go borrow this fitting. This fitting right here. And what that is it replaces the fuel filter. And that allows you to test the fuel pressure because there's no fuel pressure test port. In the process of that, Ricky discovered the inlet side of the fuel filter was not fully tightened, and yeah. I can blow through it, but that seems not good. Okay, you want to fire it up, Big Daddy? Let's see what kind of fuel pressure we got. 10. 10 is good. All right, you ready? Let's see if it'll rev. Woo! Look at there. All right, I'm gonna go charge my crap, and we'll go take a test drive. God, it's hot. It's really hot. Okay, well, good morning. It's the next day. Nice and cool. Yeah. Rock and roll. Corey's truck went to fire it up. We got the fuel hoses all swapped around underneath and fixed. And all of a sudden, the thing like runs like crap. Wouldn't idle good. I took it around the block. No power. I mean, I'm not talking it's a 305. I'm talking none. Like it wouldn't accelerate at all. So Corey told me that if you wiggle the wires over here or this connector or something, that you could get this injector to shut off. Well, I hadn't seen that. But for some reason, messing with the wires back there, underneath, the fuel hoses back there, made the injector up here turn off. But I popped the hood. I gotta get in this harness right here and look at these splices. We're gonna have a problem here. Y'all act like you never seen a throttle body before. Jaws all on the floor, LS swaps and coyotes for more. Spit fat rhymes, yo. Ow! There we go. Not too schmutzy. That's nice. I'm gonna grab some flush cuts. We're gonna strip this back. So we got this much lead, roughly, I don't know, foot-ish. We're gonna strip that back. Check these out. These are cool. You don't have to buy this kit. I didn't realize what it came with, but you go to the old fabric store I used to have to go to with my mother, and get you a seam ripper. Actually works pretty good. You can sit here and twisty all this, or kind of separate these wires a little bit. Try not to stick this thing in your meat hook, your booger pickers, because you will shove this dude. Yep, just like that. That's what I get for trying to work towards myself, like I'm some kind of idiot that wants to get hurt. But yeah, this little seam ripper action does a really good job of opening up harnesses. Better than I would have thought. You learn something new every day, right? Amazon affiliate link in the description, I'm sure. By the way, you guys are clicking stuff, but then your wife's not buying Stanley Cups or whatever, because our Amazon sales or affiliate sales are way down. Still get a lot of clicks, but yeah, I think I made like $4 on Amazon affiliate links. And you don't actually have to buy. Aha! There's our splices. You don't actually have to buy the thing in the video. I mean, it'd be great if you did, because that's cool. But it puts a 24-hour cookie or kernel, or I don't know, I'm not an IT guy, I think it's a kernel, on your Amazon account. And so anything you buy for like 24 hours supports the channel. And we need it, because these videos take a lot of effort. And I've whined about it before, and I'm probably going to whine about it again, because there's not really a marketing budget. It's more just marketing expense. So, and Steve works really hard on these videos. So you guys jump in the comments and tell Steve you appreciate his editing. Or tell him he sucks. Whatever. Because if you think so, it's just like your opinion, man. But comments drive the algorithm, so do whatever you want to do, baby. Alright. I can tell you these are probably soldered poorly, and I think that white wire probably has something to do with it. And I know it's this side injector, which is at least that wire, and yeah, that wire shows to be white and green, which I think the green one's pretty boogery. The white one, honestly, I don't know, whatever. I'm gonna cut all this back. Probably just strip all these back and start fresh, because I bet you there's some goopy solder in there. What do you bet, ladies and germs? So we'll take this opportunity to talk about soldering joints in automotive applications. Oh, there it is. Found it. Found some. That is not solder. That is booger. I mean, seriously, children. What do you want from me? Crap. This is crap. One crappy electrical connection. Look, man, we're not doing motorsport level wiring here, but it's got to be better than this. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm getting at. It's got to be better than this. That's mediocre at very best, but pretty much also crap. So let's talk about soldered connections and automotive applications. Soldered connections are great on things that don't move, but things like this harness that move, there's a couple of things going on here. One, people usually, myself included, can be guilty of overcooking the wire, and it makes it real brittle, and it'll, much like a heat affected zone in welding, you'll get brittleness right here at the edge of the joint, and that'll cause for a bad connection. You'll also notice there's no rosin right here, and there is rosin up on this side, but then just a big booger of solder. Like, how are you supposed to get a decent connection out of this crap? Same deal. See the schmutz on the wire? Here's another thing. This is like rubbery heat shrink. It is heat shrink, and then it was taped up, so it is dry-ish, but it's not like sealed. Like, and this shrink is super, even though it's years old. I mean, God, who knows? We didn't put this throttle body on. And this thing sat for years before I got a hold of it. And he drove it around a little bit before that, but it's been, you know, let's just say it's been a hot minute since this was done. And this stuff is still like rubbery and flexible. The problem is that provides no strain relief. So it doesn't take any pressure off of the joint and put it into the sheathing of the wire and the insulation of the wire. Not a fan. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this. You actually can mechanically butt splice these. I don't have a problem with that. Tell you what, let me finish stripping this crap back, and I will show you a couple options. Either way, I don't trust. Actually, that kind of feels like a funky spot right there too. I don't really trust this joint, so this is coming off of here. Okay, let's talk about options for making these splices. First thing, this harness is way too long. That connector could actually be right where that is and would not be an issue. So we got lots of room to shorten things up here. What I prefer to do is actually stagger these joints. So we want to move them. We're going to cut the wires so that they're going to be like this. So you don't wind up with a big fat bulk of, you know, splicey stuff. You wind up with a fatter section overall over the course of this, you know, call it 5 inches, 4 wires, inch-ish for each one, roughly. And we'll get into the good meat of the wire, get out of this crap, and this wire will be able to just kind of make this turn, and we'll still have plenty of lead here for strain relief and whatnot, but we need to shorten this up overall. It's half a foot longer than it needs to be. As you can see, these wires are, I mean, that's moving. Like, yeah. No penetration. There's our problem right there. That's your problem right there. All right, would you just look at it? So that's the concern. Splicing options. First one. Probably the most common, perfectly, in my opinion, probably acceptable in this instance. Mechanical butt splices, but these are the weather-resistant heat shrink ones. And these are not the blue or red with the plastic open ends and stuff. This is not the way we do it. This is better, okay? And no crimpy splices at all. Never. Those go in the trash. Okay, there's our repaired harness. Okay, we got her all taped up because honestly I'm out of loom right now. Got a couple of zip ties here. I don't really want to zip tie to vacuum lines, so we're gonna make one right here. Take a little strain relief off everything. Yeah, we'll just bundle it all together, it'll be fine. Streetcar. There we go. I'll just kind of keep that from flopping around. And of course, flush cuts. Because if you don't flush cut, you're fired. And like I say, I'll just keep that from flip-flopping. Alright, Ricky, you ready to fire it up?
Yes, sir.
Alright, go around there. Let's see if it runs worth a crap. And I'll button it up and take it to the store. Alright, cool, because I need to take it to Fort Worth. Contact! Go ahead. Oh, yeah. Man, this thing's running smoother than a 70s Cadillac. Yeah, you know the one I'm talking about. 400 cubic inches and 165 horsepower. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. That's how it's supposed to be. Except for the puffs of smoke coming out. It's not the Fall Guy truck. It's the Mall Guy truck. Well, what do you say we go for a little test drive? feel like we got a pretty good handle on this one. I need to do a little more test driving, and then we need to find out if Corey wants me to fix his air conditioning or not. All right, guys, be sure to like and subscribe and share with your friends. What do you guys think about this 87 C10? What motor would you put in it? Because it is getting smoky. I mean, he's just cruising it on the weekend, so it'll ride for a little while, but it's starting to get smoky. So what do you think? Does it need a 5.3? Does it need a 6.0? Does it just need a regular old 350? I don't know. I mean, obviously another 50 or 100 horse would make this thing way more fun to drive. But we appreciate you. Comment below, tell us what you like. Tell us what you want to see. And jump in the merch store. There's no such thing as a bolt-on. You know that. I know that. You might as well tell the rest of the world. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you on the next one.